Hello students, we can see about glycolysis or Embeden Meyerhof Parnas pathway or EMP pathway. Before going to the topic, please subscribe my channel, press the bell icon for notifications, like, share among your friends and comment. Cells derive energy from the oxidation of nutrients such as glucose. The oxidation of glucose to pyruvate occurs through a series of steps called glycolysis. The energy released during this oxidation reaction is used to form adenosine triphosphate or ATP, the energy currency of the cell. The initial steps in glycolysis are the additions of two phosphates to the glucose molecule at the expense of two molecules of ATP. The result is a 6-carbon sugar diphosphate molecule and one low energy adenosine diphosphate molecules or ADP. This 6-carbon sugar diphosphate molecule is then split into two 3-carbon molecules. Each of the 3-carbon molecules is converted through a series of steps to pyruvate. During these reactions, electrons are transferred to the coenzyme NAD+ to form NADH and ATP is formed. Under aerobic conditions, the pyruvate is further oxidized to yield more ATP, and under anaerobic condition, the pyruvate is converted into lactic acid. Have a look on the flow chart of glycolysis. See, there are 10 steps involved. ATP consumption and production of ATP is shown here. Have a look on the reactions of glycolysis. In glycolysis, the 6-carbon glucose will converted into energy in the form of ATP molecule. Glycolysis takes place in the cytosol and conversion of glucose to pyruvate take place in 10 steps. In the first step, the enzyme is kinase convert glucose into glucose 6-phosphate. Here, hexokinase requires ATP. In the second step, the enzyme is isomerase or phosphoglucose isomerase, which convert glucose 6-phosphate into fructose 6-phosphate. In the third step, the enzyme is phosphofructokinase, which convert fructose 6-phosphate into fructose 1,6-biphosphate and ADP. So this step is also irreversible. In the fourth step is enzyme fructose biphosphate aldolase. It's a lyase enzyme, converts fructose 1,6-biphosphate to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. In the fifth step, isomerase. Triose phosphates isomerase convert dihydroxyacetone phosphate into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. The sixth step, glyceraldehyde phosphate dehydrogenase converts glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate into 1,3-biphosphoglycerate and NADH is produced. In the seventh step, phosphoglycerate kinase convert 1,3-biphosphoglycerate into 3-phosphoglycerate. The eighth step, phosphoglycerate mutase convert 3-phosphoglycerate into 2-phosphoglycerate. The ninth step, enolase convert 2-phosphoglycerate to phosphoenol pyruvate. The last step, pyruvate kinase converts phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate and ATP is produced. Finally, the end product is 2 molecules of pyruvate. Here is a summary of EMP pathway. In EMP pathway, partial oxidation of glucose takes place. The overall reaction in the EMP pathway is glucose plus 2 NAD plus 2 ADP plus 2 PI gives 2 pyruvate plus 2 NADH plus 2H plus 2 ATP. Glycolysis occurs in two phases. One is the preparatory phase or energy requiring phase. The first 5 steps of the EMP pathway are known as the investment phase. Energy is consumed in this process to produce 2 molecules of triose sugar phosphates. Next phase is payoff phase. The second half of glycolysis produces ATP and NADH and pyruvate. Glycolysis occurs in cytoplasm of living cells. ATP utilization. ATP is utilized in two steps. First, in the conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, and then when fructose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 1,6 biphosphate. Total 2 ATP molecules are utilized. ATP synthesis. A total of 4 ATP molecules are synthesized. ATP is synthesized in two steps. First, when 1,3-biphosphoglyceric acid is converted into 3-phosphoglyceric acid, and then in the conversion of phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate. NADH synthesis. 2 NAD plus is converted to 2 NADH plus H plus in the sixth step when glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is converted into 1,3-biphosphoglyceric acid. In glycolysis, the rate limiting step is the conversion of fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6 biphosphate by the enzyme phosphofructokinase. End products are two molecules each of pyruvate, ATP and NADH. Significance of Embeden Meyerhof Parnas pathway or glycolysis. The EMP pathway is the universal pathway of glucose degradation, whether energy is derived in aerobic respiration or fermentation. It is the first step of cellular respiration. It is required by all tissue to derive energy in the form of ATP. Cells that perform anaerobic respiration derive energy from this process. Cells that lack mitochondria derive energy from this process. Krebs cycle and oxidative phosphorylation occur in mitochondria, where most of the energy is produced during cellular respiration. The intermediates formed during the EMP pathway are utilized in other metabolic pathways. The EMP pathway is connected to the various other metabolic pathways such as the pentose phosphate pathway, glycogen synthesis, formation of triglycerides, fatty acid synthesis, cholesterol synthesis, amino acid synthesis, etc. Dear friends, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and please subscribe my channel.